Hello guys, welcome to the fourth part of my Kurdish Emirate series. Today we're going to be looking at the Ardalan Emirate. This was the main sort of Iranian Kurdish Emirate, contrasting to all the other ones that I previously looked at that were affiliated with the Ottoman empires, like the Baban Emirate, the Soran Emirate. They lasted approximately 6.5 centuries long, and they traced their origins back to the Marwanids. They took over wide tracts of land on the Zagros Mountains in the 1300s, and they became the hereditary rulers of Sinna, which is modern-day Sanandaj. And they often dominated parts of Hamadan, Kermanshah, and regions of Lorestan, besides reigning Kurdistan. They had complete independence, like they weren't subjects of the Iranians, the Safavids, until the late 16th century under Khusraw Khan. And in this time period, they made their own coins, they recited their Friday sermons with the names of their governments, and it was total independence. So after the Battle of Chaldiran, which was between the Ottoman Empire and the Safavids in 1514, they had to settle with the Ottomans, but because the Ardalan Emirate, their land was on the eastern part of the Zagros Mountains, their loyalty was part of Iran. So the Safavids would support the Ardalan Emirate to make sure that the Ottomans were unable to cross the Zagros Mountains, so they basically became a vassal principality under Iranian rule. However, in the 16th century, there was internal division within Ardalan between two brothers, Beg and Zuhab. So this feud was used by the Ottomans to take over Shahrizor, whilst the Safavids claimed Ardalan. They kept strong political loyalty with the Safavids. They were recognized as one of the 5 privileged walis recognized as hereditary rule. So Ardalan's independence ended in 1590 after the rebellion of Khusraw Khan in 1590. He refused to serve the Shah or the Ottoman sultans, and he ruled independently. However, the Shah at the time took his son as a hostage and raised him in the Safavid tradition, and this sort of ended Ardalan's independence. As the son, Ahmad Khan, had been raised under the Safavids, like he had been taken hostage, he later displaced his father and was the most consequential ruler because of his cooperation with the state and his ability to navigate local politics. In the 17th century, the Ardalan Emirate reached its greatest territorial extent under the Safavids, and they recovered a lot of their ancient Ardalan dominions, like Rawandus, Ahmadiyya, Khoi, on the west side of the Zagros Mountains in the early 1600s under the rule of Ahmad Khan. However, Ahmad Khan later defected from the Iranian side after the death of the Shah in 1629. So in 1630, he offered the Ottomans support and he forfeited all Ardalan east of the Zagros Mountains. However, he was later defeated by the Iranian army Baban, and he died in Mosul in 1638. As well as this, the Treaty of Zuhab, which basically confirmed the borderlands for the next 400-ish years between the Ottoman Empire and the Safavids, in 1639, confirmed the loss of Shahrizor under Ottoman sovereignty, which marked a full loss of Ardalan territory. Under the reign of the Ardalan princes, patronage was provided to Kurdish poets, and this supported the cultivation of Gorani literature. Gorani developed into a literary poem in the 17th and 18th century, and the Ardalan rulers likely spoke Gorani. In the 18th century, the Safavids collapsed, and there was internal instability within the Ardalan Emirate. Several governors ruled in certain succession, which made it very unstable time for the Ardalan Emirate. After the Afghan invasion toppled the Safavids, the Ottomans intervened in 1723. This allowed the Baban's family to occupy Sharazur and basically signified a loss of power for the Ardalan Emirate. So the Ottomans ruled Ardalan for nearly a decade, organizing it into a large province divided into 7 districts, and they ruled it indirectly through their own appointed people. However, in 1732, the Afghans were expelled and the Ottomans retreated after signing a peace agreement. However, 10 years after, there was issues with taxation with Nadir Shah, and Khan Ahmad Khan, who was the ruler of Ardalan at the time, defected to the Ottomans and went to Istanbul. In the 1750s, prominent ruler of Ardalan, Khusraw Khan II, rose to prominence and ruled with splendor for various decades. He had various military successes, like he defeated the forces of Ardalan Khan and occupied the fort of Kermanshah. He turned it over to Haji Ali Khan, the chief of the Zanganeh tribe. I'm so bad with these names. He played a key role in the transition of political power to the Qajar dynasty, and the Ardalan Dynasty was potentially qualified enough to dominate the country as the ruling body of the central kingdom, like the Kurdish Zand dynasty, but Khusraw Khan instead chose to consolidate his power through alliance. As he allied with the Qajars at the time, the Qajar king granted him royal deeds for annexed lands such as Hamadan, Kermanshah, and other ones, expanding the province of Ardalan at the time, and he governed with complete autonomy and kingship. However, by the 19th century, the Ardalan Emirate had become fully dependent on the Qajar dynasty, and the Qajars had tried to modernize the Iranian territories, and they were eventually abolished by the central Iranian government. So the Ardalan had remained consistently loyal to the Iranian monarchy, and by the 1820s, the ruling family, who were mostly Sunni Muslims, were professing Shia faith, which aligns with the religion that the Iranians were. However, from the reign of Amanullah Khan I, Ardalan was fully under the political influence of Iran's government, and the governor's major role was relegated to collecting taxes and sending them to the regional government. So officially and legally, the Qajars terminated the Ardalan dynasty in 1867, which followed the pattern of centralization earlier that was done by the Ottoman empires to all the other emirates. And the last governor, Aman Allah Khan II, was dismissed, which terminated Ardalan's special status as a semi-autonomous frontier province. And yeah, that was the Ardalan Emirate. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed.